Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're back in the Porsche GT3 car for another track guide. The track this week is Charlotte Roval and the time is set to 9. I did this with the fixed setup and a track temp of 25 degrees. For those who are new here, I'll show a fast lap first, then a guided lap afterwards. Let's get into it. Turn 1 I brake just after the 2 and use 3rd gear. My peak brake pressure is 50% and I tried off very quickly, as the car can oversteer here on entry if you're troll braking too hard for too long. I turn in at the 1 board and avoid the blue sausage curb as it can unsettle the car, and I get back on throttle just after it. I turn in for a late apex to carry speed on the exit, and I aim to get as close to the wall as possible to set up for the next corner. Here I shift to 4th gear and turn in at the green light on the right. All I do here is lift and aim to apex at the end of the wall on the inside. On the exit I want my car over to the left to prepare for the next sequence, and on cold or worn tyres this can be very sketchy as the car can understeer a lot through here and you can hit the wall in the exit. For this double right hander I start turning and braking where the barrier changes on the left. I turn in quite early here to set up for the second apex. I avoid the sausage curb on the inside and you have to be very smooth with the braking and turning to not lose the car. I shift down to 3rd gear at the end of the first sausage curb and 2nd just after the white line. I'm troll braking throughout the entire corner to keep the car turning in. For the second part I get mid-apex as the exit is quite wide and I gradually come back on throttle just before the curb to carry the speed. On the exit you can use some of the grass, however if you use too much that will give you an off track. Here I turn in just before the red and white paint starts and brake at the curb on the right. My brake pressure is around 60%, and again you have to be very smooth to not lose the car here as you have to brake and turn at the same time. Once I reach the outside of the track I begin to turn in tighter. I'm troll braking in 2nd gear until I reach the inside curb and gradually come back on throttle at the end of the curb to avoid the TC engaging. You want to get as close to the wall on the inside as possible here to make sure you get a good run out of the corner. If you get the line correct out of the corner before this, then you should only need to lift in 3rd gear here. If you run a bit wide you may need to troll brake slightly. I keep the car tight to the curb on the left and aim to apex where the cones start. I then let the car drift back out to the outside again, and for the second part of this corner I keep the car in 3rd gear and troll brake to get the car turned in. You can cut all of the track on the left, so I aim to get as close to the inside wall as possible, and I get back on throttle just before the apex to carry a lot of speed onto the banking. The first of the 2 chicanes I brake just after the 3 board and my peak brake pressure is just over 75%. For the first apex I'm in 3rd gear and I shift to 2nd gear for the second apex. I turn in for a late apex to prepare the exit back onto the straight. I use the red and white curb of the first apex and use none of the second curb so that it doesn't compromise my exit. I get back on throttle just after the second curb, and again for some reason you can cut the painted part on the left without getting a slowdown, which can gain you a few hundredths. the final chicane there aren't many references. I use the yellow barrier on the left and brake around a car's length after it. You can use a tiny bit of the grass on the entry to help open up the corner, and I use third gear. I turn in where the tarmac changes colour. I take just the red and white part of the first curb, and take all of the second curb. I get back on throttle just after the first curb, and for the second curb, be careful when you come back off of it, as it can be unpredictable when you land. So that was a lap of Charlotte Roval. There is one thing I'd like to mention quickly. The right set of tyres were overheating very quickly, especially the front right. I'm not sure if it's the fixed setup or just how the track is, but don't worry if your pace begins to drop off near the ends of the races, because it's just the tyre wear and everyone will be having to drive around it. If you did find this guide helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You can also now become a channel member if you so wish. I'll now leave you with the third person lap to the end of the video.